it occurred to me while I was in the shower that I haven't given you an update on the pelargoniums or the geraniums that I brought into the house. So I potted them up from the baskets and pots and tubs that they were in outside over the summer. I've put them into some lovely terracotta pots, and I've got them here in our bedroom and also in the spare room, and they're looking absolutely lovely. They're flowering, and I'm going to enjoy letting them flower because they're really lovely, healthy specimens, and why not have that colour to cheer us up. And before I go downstairs and make some coffee, I thought I would share this exciting box with you. So anybody that loves a thrift haul or a charity shop bargain, keep watching. And I have shown this company before. They are a fantastic charity, and they're called Be Kinder, so the letter B and then Kinda. And I'll leave a link in the description to their website. And when I ordered with them quite some time ago now, I think it was £15. It has increased to £20, but to be fair, they do an amazing job. So I won't ramble on too much about it, but do check out their website if you're interested. But essentially what they do is they're all pre-loved clothes, and you fill in a bit of a form about what you like and don't like, what colours you don't like, what age you like to dress for, and your sizes. And then one of their staff members will put together 4 chosen garments, and they package them up beautifully, and you get them through the post. So the postage and package is included. You get 4 items. You don't know what you're going to get. So it's a bit of a gamble, but it's also a lovely surprise. And I absolutely loved my first box, and I've worn all the items from it. This box I have already opened, I have to be honest with you, but I wanted to share it with you. So when you open up your box, there's always a lovely little card inside, and this one was packed for me by Gemma, and again they've even remembered, she's put enjoy your second mystery box, and signed it Gemma. So it's just that little personal touch that yes, this is indeed my second box, and they've taken the trouble to handwrite the little card. So I'll pop that to one side. So as I say, we're not unboxing together, it's a surprise for you, but I can't feign surprise because I have already seen what's in here, but I was really pleased. So the first item, and this is how the order that they were in when I unboxed them, is this absolutely lovely mustard jumper, and it's in a chenille fabric, and the label says capsule, your ultimate wardrobe staples. Now I'm not entirely sure, made in Turkey. Somebody might tell me where capsule comes from. I'm just going to have a look on the inside label because there's nothing giving it away. This is a size 16 to 18, and I have actually worn it, and it's really, really nice. It's a nice loose fitting, lightweight, great for layering, lovely colour for all year round really, for spring, summer, autumn, winter, and I absolutely love that. And then my second item is this skirt, and it's super stretchy. It says select on the label. It's a size 16. I say it's super stretchy, and then I don't know if it'll pick it out. It's got this kind of stripy texture to it. I don't think the camera's going to pick that up in this light. And it's a really nice length. So if I just wear it at the length it is, it's just skimming my knee, but because it's this elasticated, you can turn the top over and make it shorter if you want to, and it's really, really nice, and it actually looks great with this jumper and a nice thick pair of tights and some boots. Now the next item I really wasn't sure about, and I have to be honest with you, I'm still not sure about it, and I've shown it to Chris, and he's in agreement that it's either really, really lovely or we're not really sure, and we think with the right thing it could be really nice. So when I first saw it, the way they'd folded, I thought I got a pinafore, it's denim, but it's actually a denim waistcoat, and it's really well made. It's got a leather label, universal, heavy duty product, durable quality, worldwide standard, authentic jeans wear. It's a size large, universal original quality clothing. I've no idea where this has come from originally, but it's really good quality. It's a zip rather than buttons. It's got some pockets, and it's got this lovely detailing on the side so you can nip it in or let it out. And we think with the right worn the right way, I think that could actually look really, really nice, but I'm still a little bit on the fence. And then my fourth and final item, and again I'm just not sure, is a pair of jeans. I think they were originally from New Look, if I remember. Yeah, so New Look, kind tall, Tory, slim fit. They're a size 16, they're stretchy, and they are what they call a mum fit, which makes them kind of high-waisted. Made in Turkey. Lovely cotton. It's just the colour. So I don't know if it shows up here. They're like a lilac, a real pastel pale lilac. And I don't know, were they always this lilac colour, or were they originally white and they went in the wash with something? I can't decide if I really like them, if I really dislike them. I've tried them on and they fit. They're not the style of jean I would normally go for. But I've got a few options. So I can either gift them to a charity shop or give them to a friend. Or I could actually dye them, because it's really easy to dye denim in the washing machine with I think it's Fablon I used to use. I haven't dyed for a while, but I have dyed clothes before. Or I could save them for the summer and maybe wear them in the summer because they are pale. They're just not the most practical of colours on the farm and around animals, but I think they could potentially be quite pretty. I'm just looking across at some of the check shirts I've got hanging over the end of the bed there. I was going to say bed knob, bed knobs and broomsticks. Behind me, you can see above my head, at the bottom of the bed, they're hanging on the end of that. And I've got one that's got pinks and blues. You've probably seen me wear it. I wear it a lot. So potentially with a pale t-shirt or a checked shirt, they may look okay. I'm just not sure. But again, for £20 for the 4 items, 2 that I love, 1 I'm not sure, so drop me a comment below and see what you think of that waistcoat, and 1 that is perfectly wearable. I'm just not sure. So I thought I'd share this with you. I absolutely love them. This is my second box, and I'll certainly be using them again, and I would encourage any of you that like a bargain, that like your charity shopping and thrift haul, and don't want to use fast fashion. This is very green. I like the fact that it's packaged in cardboard box with brown paper. Let me hold this up. It's got brown paper wrapping, so everything is recyclable, and of course we're recycling these clothes, and then the money goes to a really good cause as well. It has been such a long time since I've sat here in my shed with a cuppa. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't even opened the door. Normally I'm in and out of here on a regular basis, pottering in and out of the shed, pottering in the garden and the polytunnel, and I just haven't been here. And I decided, instead of beating myself up, as I've mentioned previously, I was just going to stop worrying about it and then do what I can when I can and get things pulled back together by the spring, and then my workload will have decreased and I'll have time to spend out here in the garden again. And I've said this so many times before, but that is the absolute wonderful thing about gardening and growing, is every year is a do-over. Every year you can start again, and you can change things around, and you can grow different things, and if things get out of control, you've got the winter to pull things back. So the shed, I did mention, I don't even know how long ago, it was probably this time last year, that I was going to take everything out and give it a lick of paint inside and a really good clean out and get rid of things I didn't need, and I just never did it. So that is going to happen hopefully on a frosty day in the winter when it's warm, you know, got a bit of that winter sun. I can certainly clear it out and give it a good spring clean. I probably won't paint in here. It's not actually looking too bad, but it certainly needs a bit of a clean and tidy up. And just looking, you can't see, but out of shot there's a bit of bunting falling down, and there's seed packets and all sorts, just rubbish and all sorts in here that shouldn't be here, and it just needs a really good sort out. But what I want to do today is get into that polytunnel, and I'd like to achieve one task, and that's going to be getting the tomato plants in from the bed by the door. I've also got tomatoes at the other end of the polytunnel, but I've decided I'm going to do that bed, get that clear, and then if I just do something each time I'm in there or each time I'm across here, before I know it, we'll be back on track. So let's get into that polytunnel. I'm going to take the radio with me and my coffee and crack on. So it is 11.2 degrees outside and it's 13.9 degrees in here, so it's quite a comfortable working temperature. Now there are still, I pull these off, I can show you, quite a lot of these green tomatoes, and old me would have wanted to save these, ripen them up, but this year I know I've got too much on my plate, so this year they're going in the compost, and that's all there is to it. What's more important to me is that I just get these beds clear and I get back on top of things. And if I keep doing little jobs that are going to take me backwards instead of going forwards, like trying to harvest and ripen up these tomatoes, I'm just never going to get anywhere. So this year, I'm afraid they're going into my truck and then onto the compost heap. So this bed, let's get it clear. And it's clear, so it didn't take too long. Yes, I've thrown some tomatoes that could potentially have been salvaged, but what a lovely feeling that this bed is clear. Now the sides of the polytunnel where the tomatoes have been touching is looking pretty manky, but that's the job. When I come to use my Algon, I'll spray and clean the whole of the polytunnel. So little baby steps and we're getting there, but it feels absolutely great to get that done. So I've made myself a second cup of coffee. I had one before I started, and I've made another one to celebrate clearing the bed. Job well done. So I'm hoping the wind isn't going to affect my mic too much, but I just wanted to point out that one of the jobs that I did do a couple of weeks ago was to actually take my lovely bunting down, and I've washed it and pressed it and put it away, and I'll get that back out again ready for summer next year. Hello, come on then. Come on. So we're back indoors. I have another cup of coffee, but don't worry, the last two have been decaffeinated. So let's pop that to one side. And I thought we'd just have a little chat about things that I have been doing to keep me going and things that I'm looking forward to over the winter months. So some of you may recall I talked about the Ellie Griffiths Dr. Ruth Galloway mystery series of books. And I've been reading these. I think I discovered them about a year ago, but didn't start reading them straight away. There are 15 in the series, and I don't think I've ever read that many books, one after the other after the other. Some with a little bit of a gap, some have taken me longer to read than others, with things not because of the books, just because of time and what's been going on with work and home life and so on. But I've just finished the last one. And one of my lovely work colleagues, one of my nurses, Judith, she introduced me to these books, and she's loving them as well. So she'd actually bought the first half and gave them to me to read. And then I bought the second half, so I've been reading them and then passing them on to her. So I'm not going to spoil the ending for anybody in case they want to watch it, but I'm certainly not going to spoil the ending for Judith. But I've just... This very morning, I had a bit of a lazy morning before I got up and got on with things, and I finished them, and oh my goodness, what a roller coaster. So Ellie Griffiths, The Last Remains is the last book, but it's the Dr. Ruth Galloway mystery series, and I think if I remember rightly, the first one was called The Crossing Places. I highly recommend this series. It would be a great series to read over the winter months. So I finished them. Now I always have a big pile of to be read books, and I get a little bit twitchy if I'm down to one or two in that pile. I like to know what I'm reading next, or certainly not necessarily what book I'll read, but that I've got things I can read. So in no particular order, I have actually bought the first 5 in another Ellie Griffiths series, and these are called the Brighton Mysteries. And these are set, I believe, in the 1950s. Yeah. So they're going to be slightly different. But because of her style of writing, I sometimes find it hard to go from the same author from one series, if you like, to another, because you've still got those characters in your head. So what I might do is read something totally different to split them up. But I've certainly got this series. So I've got the first 5. I'm not sure how many are in that series. And then I've got this fabulous book. So in my last video you'll have seen that I went to Leeds for work, and we had a big conference and leadership meeting and all sorts going on, and one of the key speakers was Dr. Stephen Hearns, and this is his book, and he was a real inspiration to all of us. Very down to earth, spoke really well, but could also relate. So for those of you that don't know, I am an emergency and out of hours and critical care veterinary nurse. I specialise in emergency and critical care, and I work nights and weekends, well, weekend days and bank holiday days. So we do the out of hours. That's what we do. So it's kind of like A&E for animals. So most of our patients are pretty poorly when they come through the doors. Now we do get some, that are just a bit unwell, or maybe they've torn a dew claw or whatever, they're lame, but we do get some really sick patients, and it's a very fast-paced, high-stress environment. And this chap, the book is called Peak Performance Under Pressure, Lessons from a Helicopter Rescue Doctor, and that's exactly what he is. He's the guy in the red overalls that comes down in the helicopter to save you. And he works in Scotland, so you can imagine the situations this chap has to work under and the pressure that he has to work under. But what he could relate to is working under pressure, not knowing what you're going to deal with, not always in the best of situations. Obviously, at least we have our patients coming to the clinic, but also in a very small team working under pressure. And he was our key speaker, and he was fabulous. And we all got given, all of those in the leadership meeting got given a copy of his book. So I'm really looking forward to reading that, although I think it's going to be quite intense. So that's on my list. Now, some time ago when I used to do my ponderings from the polytunnel, and please let me know if you are missing that series. So I used to do a series of videos called Ponderings from the Polytunnel. Now, the only reason I've stopped that is because I kind of encapsulate what I was doing in ponderings in my weekly vlogs now. But if you particularly liked ponderings and you'd like to see it come back once a month, drop me a comment below, or I may even put a poll out, and if you want it back, I'll bring it back, because I did enjoy doing it. Anywho, so I mentioned these books a long time ago, and it's Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends and Normal People. And I'll be honest with you, I started Conversations with Friends, and because I don't use bookmarks and I'm a dog ear person, I can probably work out roughly where I'd got to. Yeah, so I'd got to page 9. No, I definitely got further than page 9. I remember going further than that. I got a few chapters in. I clearly just gave up and didn't dog ear. I just couldn't get into it. But I think I'm going to hold on to them and potentially have another go at those, because I've got the 2. So maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. I've done that before. I've had books that I've sat and I've tried them and I've not enjoyed them and I've put them on the pile, and then some months or years later I've come back to them and I've really, really enjoyed them. And then I was very kindly gifted this book by an old friend who sent it as a surprise present. And it's called Winterset Hollow by Jonathan Edward Durham. Part 1, The Rabbit in the Rye. Just look at that illustration. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm really looking forward to giving this a go. I can't decide whether to read it through the winter months, because I've got a feeling it might be a bit scary. Everyone has wanted their favourite book to be real, if only for a moment. Everyone has wished to meet their favourite characters, if only for a day. But be careful in that wish, for even a history laid in ink can be repaid in flesh and blood, and reality is far deadlier than fiction, especially on Addington Isle. Winterset Hollow follows a group of friends to the place that inspired their favourite book, a timeless tale about the tribe of animals preparing for their yearly end of summer festival. But after a series of shocking discoveries, they find that much of what the world believes to be fiction is actually fact, and that the truth behind their beloved story is darker and more dangerous than they ever imagined. It's Barley Day, and you're invited to the hunt. Winterset Hollow is as thrilling as it is terrifying, and as smart as it is surprising. A uniquely original story filled with properly unexpected twists and turns. Winterset Hollow delivers complex, indelible characters and pulse-pounding action as it storms towards an unforgettable climax that will leave you reeling. How do you celebrate Barley Day? You run, friend, you run. So I have a feeling it's going to be a bit scary, and it might not be one to be reading on my own in the dark. So I might save that one for the spring. Who knows? And then I genuinely can't remember where I've picked this one up from. I don't know if it's a second-hand one. It looks as if it might be. But it's a Jodi Picoult, and I've always enjoyed Jodi Picoult. The Book of Two Ways. I love Jodi Picoult books. I've read many of her books. And so I picked that up. Who would you be if you hadn't turned out to be the person you are now? I'm intrigued already. So that's another one on my list. And then last on my kind of books to read list, although I've already had a bit of a flick through this, is this. And I can't for the life of me remember. Somebody on YouTube mentioned this book. It's called London Under London. Now, it may have been Richard and Paul. Can't remember. And I know you occasionally watch my videos, Richard and or Paul. So if it was you, drop me a comment and let me know. It's by Richard Trench and Ellis Hillman. And I was just absolutely fascinated to discover this book is basically about I'll read you a little bit from the beginning. One of the most popular books on London, reprinted many times since it was first published. London Under London has now been updated to take into account the latest subterranean developments. A new section covers the pioneering deep level water main, 50 miles in length, twice as long as the Channel Tunnel, and on it goes. So basically it's all about the tunnels and networks under London. So not just the London Underground, there's a whole network under there. So when you're walking up on top, it's almost like there's another city underneath, and it's absolutely fascinating. And the front cover, Dinner by Gaslight in the Thames Tunnels in 1827 by an anonymous artist. Mark Brunel organised the banquet as proof that the partially completed tunnel was perfectly safe. So yeah, it's a fascinating read. I've had a little flick through it, but I want to just sit and read it. And then the other thing I'm hoping to do this winter, and again I mentioned a long time ago that I was going to have a go at crochet, and I've tried and I'm not very good at it. So I had some thinner wool and some thinner crochet hooks, and I was trying to do it via video, but I've bought some thicker wool by recommendation. A few people have recommended it, and some nice big chunky crochet hooks, and I bought myself a book. So this winter, when I've got some more time, I'm going to have another bash at learning how to crochet. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I can't promise videos will be back weekly again, but this one should only be a week from the last one because I'm catching up with myself. So I'm going to try and put a video out on Sundays again, or Saturdays, so once a week at the weekend. I know I can't go back to twice a week at the moment. Who knows what the future might hold. But at the moment, they'll be coming out as and when, depending on what else is going on in life. But thank you again to all of you that watch. Thank you for sticking with me, because I know I've been through a bit of a sticky patch. I've got a couple of procedures this week. So I've got to go in, I've got a hospital appointment tomorrow, and then I've got meetings in Manchester on Wednesday, and then I am back in hospital for the day on Thursday. So I will definitely be taking a book with me. Do let me know in the comments below what you've been up to. What's your favourite read? What are you reading at the moment? Have you read any of these books? If you have, don't give away the endings or the story, but let me know if you enjoyed them. Are you a crocheter or maybe a knitter? What's your favourite craft? I'll also be continuing with my junk journal that you saw me make a few videos back, and adding a few things into those pages, and that's something I'm enjoying the process of. But for now, take care, and I'll see you all again really soon.